All right, let's talk about magicians. And no, I don't mean the kind with top hats and bunnies. I'm talking about something way deeper. What if I told you that there's a magician inside you? Not just you, but inside all of us. It's this powerful, universal archetype, a force for transformation that's literally shaping our world every single moment.
I mean, just imagine for a second. What if you could actually see the hidden connections that tie everything together? You know, the invisible threads linking people, ideas, even random events. What if you could understand the secret patterns of reality itself? This sounds like something out of a movie, right? But it's not. This is the real potential of the magician archetype. It's all about seeing and, yeah, even influencing those hidden relationships that run the whole show.
So look, the power to transform reality, it's already in you. That's a given. The real question, the big one, is what kind of magician are you going to be? How are you going to use that power? Are you going to be the kind who uses it for, selfish little tricks and manipulation? Or are you going to step up and consciously create something meaningful? That choice is what this whole explainer is about.
Okay, so to really get a handle on that choice, we've got to figure out what this power actually is. What's the spark? What's the magic all about?
And here's the absolute key. This magic, it's not some external thing we find. Nope, it's an aspect of us. It's that part of our mind, our psyche, that can tap into the deep, hidden sources of life. Things like creativity, intuition. It takes that raw energy and pulls it out into the real world. At its core, it's about making the invisible visible.
This quote just nails it. The main job of the magician is revelation. It doesn't matter if it's a huge, world-changing miracle or just a clever trick. The point is always the same, showing what was hidden. The magician connects the dots that no one else sees. They reveal the cause and effect behind things. And suddenly, boom, you see the world in a totally new light. But here's the thing, that same power that can illuminate can also be used to seriously deceive.
So that leads us to the dark side. What happens when this power is misused? Well, it morphs into its shadow self. When the magician's energy isn't properly integrated, when it's all immature and self-serving, it shows up as the trickster. And we're not necessarily talking about pure evil here, but something that's just deeply, deeply irresponsible.
The trickster? It's that part of us that just loves to manipulate things for the sheer thrill of it. It's super clever for sure, but all that cleverness is just feeding the ego. It craves attention, it wants to feel big and powerful, and honestly, it couldn't care less about the fallout. And what's really interesting is that because we tend to ignore this part of ourselves, it stays stuck in this childish, immature state, just doing crazier and crazier stuff to get us to finally pay attention.
And that quote from Baudelaire, man, that's the real danger of the inner trickster. It's that sneaky little voice in our head that whispers, oh, that manipulation was totally justified. Or what you're projecting onto them, that's the absolute truth. It's the part that tells you your shadow doesn't even exist. And by doing that, it gets to run wild in the dark, pulling all the strings without you even realizing it. The only way to start mastering it is to first admit that it's there.
Okay, so we've seen the shadow. Now let's flip the coin. What does the fully integrated, mature magician look like? Well, that's when we walk the path of the creator. This is where magic stops being about tricks and becomes a serious tool for creating real, meaningful change in the world.
See, the evolved magician, they're not in it for themselves anymore. Their power gets channeled into something bigger. Their community, a powerful idea, a vision for a better world. Think of an orchestra conductor. The conductor doesn't play a single instrument, right? But they take all that chaotic energy, all those different sounds, and they organize it into something beautiful, something harmonious. That's the creator. They become a channel for the creative life force of the universe.
And this image just captures that idea perfectly. It's all about that conscious act of reaching into the infinite chaos of the universe, all that raw potential, and using your focused will to bring order, to bring life, to bring form into reality. It's like this sacred conversation between the creator and creation. And here's the amazing part. That potential is inside every single one of us. It doesn't matter who you are. The magician is beyond gender. All right, so we've got the trickster on one side and the creator on the other. How in the world do you get from A to B? Well, here's the secret. You don't try to kill the trickster. You can't. The goal is to integrate it. It's a kind of inner alchemy, a sacred marriage of opposites that has to happen inside your own mind.
The ancient alchemists talked about uniting two fundamental energies to achieve mastery. Let's call them Logos and Eros. Think of logos as the masculine principle. It's all about structure, logic, order. It's the part of you that analyzes and organizes. Then you have Eros, the feminine principle. This is all about feeling, connection, imagination, being receptive to the world. A magician who's out of balance will lean way too hard on one of these and totally neglect the other.
And this is the absolute core of mastery. It's not about your brain winning out over your heart or your heart winning out over your brain. It's about becoming strong enough to hold the tension between them both. It's about being able to think with total clarity, that's logos, while at the same time feeling with deep empathy, that's Eros. When you bring those two together, you get a mind that's not just powerful, but also wise. You can create things that don't just work, but that actually matter.
So you're probably asking, okay, how do I actually do that? Let's break it down into a kind of path. First step, you've got to face your inner trickster. No judgment, just acknowledge it. See the places where you manipulate, where your ego is running the show. Second, you start to hold that tension, like the scales of justice. You give both your logic and your feelings a seat at the table. Third, you pick up your magician's wand. This is about consciously directing your energy and your will towards what you want to create. And the final, most important step, you make sure that what you're creating serves something bigger than just you.
And that really brings us to the heart of it all, the trickster and the creator. These aren't job titles. They aren't permanent states of being. They are choices. Choices we make every single day, with every interaction, even with every single thought.
Really, it all comes down to one question. When you use your power, is it for manipulation or is it for manifestation? Is your goal to rig the game for your own benefit, or is it to bring a better reality to life for everyone? Are you just playing tricks, or are you trying to create a miracle?
Because the magic is real, and it's in your hands right now. All that creative potential, those well springs of life, they're just waiting. So the only question left is, what are you going to create?